Shoes hidden in walls, a strange tradition of British folk protection. When builders restore old houses in Britain, they sometimes make a very unusual discovery. Hidden inside walls, chimneys, ceilings, or beneath floorboards, they find old shoes. At first glance, this seems puzzling. Why would anyone deliberately place a worn shoe inside the structure of a building? In many cases, the shoe appears to have been carefully hidden, not accidentally lost. For many years, these discoveries confused historians. But as more houses were examined and more hidden shoes were found, researchers began to recognize a pattern. The concealed shoe was not an accident at all. It was part of a widespread protective tradition that existed across Britain for centuries. Today, this custom is known as the concealed shoe tradition, and it forms one of the most fascinating examples of everyday folk magic. To understand why people hid shoes inside buildings, we must first understand how earlier communities thought about the relationship between objects and people. In traditional belief systems, objects that had been used by a person for a long time were believed to carry something of that person with them. Clothing, tools, and personal belongings were thought to hold traces of the owner's presence or essence. Shoes were especially powerful in this sense because they had been worn closely against the body and shaped by the movement of the foot. A worn shoe therefore carried a strong connection to the person who had worn it. Because of this connection, shoes were believed to have protective properties. When hidden within a house, the shoe was thought to act almost like a guardian spirit linked to the household. The idea was that harmful forces entering the building might become distracted or confused by the presence of the shoe. Some traditions suggested that spirits or malevolent entities could even become trapped by the shoe's shape, unable to escape once they entered it. Although this may sound unusual today, similar ideas appear in many cultures. The belief that personal objects carry spiritual significance is widespread throughout human history. In Britain, the concealed shoe tradition appears to have been particularly common between the 16th and 19th centuries. Many of the shoes discovered by archaeologists date from this period. Interestingly, most of the shoes found in walls are heavily worn. They are rarely new shoes. This detail is important. The fact that the shoes were worn suggests that their protective power was believed to grow through use. The longer a shoe had been worn by a person, the stronger its connection to that individual. For this reason, people often chose an old shoe that had already served its owner for many years. Where these shoes were hidden is also revealing. Many concealed shoes have been discovered in chimneys. Chimneys were considered vulnerable parts of a house because they created an open passage between the interior of the home and the outside world. Smoke rose through the chimney, but people also believed that spirits or harmful forces might travel down it. Placing a protective object inside the chimney was therefore seen as a way to guard the house against supernatural intrusion. Other shoes were hidden beneath floorboards, behind wall panels, or near doorways. Doorways held particular significance in traditional belief systems. They represented a boundary between the protected interior of the home and the uncertain world outside. Because of this, doorways were often treated as magical thresholds. Protective objects such as horseshoes, iron nails, or concealed shoes were sometimes placed near entrances to stop harmful influences from crossing into the house. As more examples of concealed shoes were discovered across Britain, researchers began to realize how widespread the practice had been. Hundreds of hidden shoes have now been documented in historic buildings throughout England, Scotland, and Wales. Many of these discoveries were made accidentally during building renovations. Builders removing floorboards or repairing chimneys would suddenly uncover an old shoe carefully wedged into a cavity. In some cases, the shoes were found wrapped in cloth or placed deliberately in a small space where they could not easily fall or move. This suggests that the placement was intentional and meaningful. One of the most famous collections of concealed shoes is held by the Northampton Museum in England. The museum has gathered hundreds of examples discovered in buildings over the years. Many of these shoes date back several centuries. When historians examined these shoes closely, they noticed that most belonged to ordinary working people rather than wealthy individuals. This observation reinforces the idea that the concealed shoe tradition was a form of everyday magic practiced by common households. It was not a ritual performed by specialists or priests. It was a quiet protective act carried out by families seeking safety and security. The concealed shoe tradition also appears alongside other forms of household protection. In some buildings, concealed shoes have been found together with other protective objects such as witch bottles, animal bones, or protective marks carved into beams. These objects were all part of a broader system of domestic countermagic. Households used multiple protective methods simultaneously, reinforcing their sense of safety. What makes the concealed shoe tradition particularly fascinating is how long it lasted. Even into the 19th century, when scientific explanations for illness and misfortune were becoming more widely accepted, some people still quietly followed these older protective customs. Because the shoe was hidden inside the structure of the house, the practice could continue without attracting attention. Over time, the meaning of these hidden objects was forgotten. Houses changed owners, generations passed, and eventually the knowledge behind the tradition faded. Today many homeowners are surprised to discover a centuries-old shoe hidden inside their walls. Yet each discovery provides historians with valuable insight into the everyday beliefs of the past. The concealed shoe reminds us that folk magic was not always dramatic or mysterious. Often it was simple and practical. It used ordinary objects found within the household. A worn shoe, something every person owned, became a symbol of protection. Placed quietly inside a wall or chimney, it served as a silent guardian for the home. These hidden shoes tell a story about how people once understood their world. They lived in a time when unseen forces were believed to influence daily life. To manage those uncertainties, families developed traditions that blended practicality with belief. The concealed shoe was one such tradition. It required no special tools, no expensive materials, and no public ceremony. Only a simple object, hidden carefully in the structure of a home. Today, when archaeologists uncover these shoes, they reveal something more than an old piece of leather. They reveal a fragment of human history, a glimpse into the fears, hopes, and protective instincts of the people who lived centuries before us. The hidden shoe, tucked quietly behind a wall or chimney stone, stands as a small but powerful reminder of Britain's rich tradition of folk protection. It shows how ordinary households used everyday objects to guard themselves against the unknown. And it reminds us that sometimes the most interesting history is not found in grand monuments or famous events.